Look podcast.
Yay!
Yay!
I'm Lily.
I'm Megan.
Yay!
Nice to see you, Lil.
We're back on the couch.
I gave you a nickname.
I like that. People call me Lil.
They
I
do?
like that one, yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've gotten Lil, Lillers.
Lillers.
Yeah.
Lizard? Have you ever gotten
No.
that? I don't know if that one
No.
was... That's not you. That's not you.
My dad used to call me Willa because my little brother used to say that he couldn't pronounce the L when he was
Willa.
little, so he would call me Willa.
Willa?
Yeah, so
Aw.
I've got a few. I like Lil. You can call me that.
Oh. Okay.
Lil and Meg.
Lil Meg.
Just back on the pod.
Lil Meg.
Lil Meg. Back on the pod.
Back on the pod.
Here
everybody.
we are. We're talking about burnout today.
Yeah.
Because we just launched a whole business.
It's just like we...
And we were in
Having the-
crunch time with that. We were in crunch time.
Yes.
A day before we did a photo shoot, we recorded like 5 voiceovers. Like, we were in crunch time cranking out that business. It was a lot.
We're having...
Yeah.
What is it called? What is it? When the mother just has birth.
Exactly.
Post-birth
Exactly.
pains. And
Exactly.
yeah.
We're recovering
And yeah, it doesn't help that, I mean, we knew that it'd be a big deal and stuff.
we knew it was coming, but we also work better under pressure, both of us, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I feel like we really procrastinated
Maybe
some things,
Maybe
which
teensy bit.
made us have to do a lot
I stayed up a little later
under
than I...
pressure.
I only stayed... I told her, I was like, I think I'll be done by about 2, and I stayed up till 2:30. It was 30 minutes after what I thought. And then it was, like, editing and just all the things that you have to
Final
do.
touches.
Yeah, uploading I was like, oh yeah, I gotta upload that waiver.
Yeah.
And then make it... So anyway, we kind of had a little test run. Regardless, we're talking about grief. Or...
Literally.
Wait, not grief.
Burnout.
Burnout. Yeah.
So. Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe...
Yeah.
Do you want me to go into how burnout affects me, and then you want to take after that?
Absolutely, yeah.
So burnout, for me, an extrovert, and not every extrovert's the same. Everybody's so different in how they deal with grief, or I almost say grief again, with burnout, and oftentimes it's associated with just doing all this stuff all at once, and then disappearing a little bit into the oblivion. And in my version of that, whenever I feel super burnt out, I'm like, okay, I just need a time. I usually will binge watch a show or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's my way to just kind of tune out the brain. But also, I also have this ability to recognize, okay, I give myself like a day or two, and then I slowly come back into reality, depending on how long the burnout has been going on. I do it based on that. It's no scientific method, it's all based on feelings. So
right. It's intuitive.
Yeah. So everybody burns out in their own ways. But how do you deal with burnout, Lily?
Yeah, like, I feel like I've been in burnout right now, and we've been working on this business, and then I also have to, keep myself afloat and pay my bills and stuff, so I have, 2 other jobs. And then I also, want to teach people yoga, and I just feel like right now I've been spreading myself so thin. And it's kind of sucks, because it's, everywhere I go, I love where I'm at. I love the people I'm with, and I want to put my all into everything that I'm doing, but I literally can't right now, And I feel like that's been, my main cause of burnout right now, is just spreading myself way too thin over all these areas. But it's just kind of that society that we live in, that society is just, telling us that the things we love, we have to make money off of. We have to benefit from what we're putting our time and energy into. It almost feels like a waste of time to do something that doesn't make any profit, or it doesn't benefit you, because you can be doing something else. Sure. And I feel like that is also a big stem of burnout, is just this mass producing what we love.
Yeah, especially with social media, when it's this thing of pick that one niche and make all the videos, all the things over it, and then that's your entire life, and it almost makes it less enjoyable after a while. Not saying that's with yoga. Yoga seems to be
well, it heals. Like, yoga heals us while we're leading other people,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Exactly.
But that's not necessarily the case for all things.
Yeah.
You know, like, I coach ice skating, right? And I love ice skating, and I want to share ice skating with everybody that I can. And, but, you know, I have some skaters who just hate it, and whose parents force them to do it because they feel like they need a sport or whatever. And that, like, is really hard energetically to, like, want to share something I love so much to someone who just couldn't even care less, you know? But I'm still doing it because I'm profiting off of it. Even though there's people who probably couldn't afford ice skating who would enjoy it more.
Sure.
And that's really hard, too, I think. But yeah, like, this society that we live in is just like, yes, you have to make money off of everything you do. And I feel like that's why I'm so burned out right now. And before this podcast, before Megan even came over today, like, I was like, I just have to go out in the glen and look for mushrooms and just, you know, have earth time.
Yeah. Forest time. Mother Nature is such a great healer.
Absolutely. And just, like, be in that quiet, clear my head, like, I feel like that's one of my favorite ways to deal with burnout. And like we were talking about earlier, like, just acknowledging it, I feel like, is the first step. Like, just being like, I am burned out. And just giving yourself grace when you're there.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a big step when you first realize, okay, here I am burnt out. There's something about just admitting it to yourself too that actually can be pretty healing.
And I even feel like I noticed it a couple weeks ago when I was burning out. I was like I'm currently in the process of burning out. Like, I can feel myself burning, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't hit that, like, rock bottom, like, I'm tired. Yeah. But, like, just noticing that, oh my goodness, I'm doing a lot right now. I'm putting out a lot of energy. Like, how do I conserve that, you know, before you hit that peak of, like, rock bottom.
Right.
You know?
Trying to... It's hard.
It's hard.
Especially when you're... Yeah, I think about the people in my life who are super big doers, and they're their world. They love to just get stuff done, get things... They're very organized, very put together, and there are people out there who are just excelling at everything, and they're so great. And I'm not that person, and I felt a little bit ashamed about that in the past because of ADHD and because of my everything in my brain and how it works. And I would associate burnout with shame, and I would put that energy into my world, that shame, and
I'm not doing enough.
I'm not being enough. Yeah. And especially with what we're doing too, which is a creative endeavor.
Yeah.
But it's not always this linear path that everybody else is like, oh, every single week, like, I do this and this and this. And I think about it more in stages where it's like, we're on level 1, and wherever it is for you, individual who is out there, whatever your level 1 is, your stage of life, and slowly you gain that experience and you get faster, you get more used to this. Burnout doesn't happen as frequently because you've been doing it so much and you've gone comfortable with it. We were talking about you and your cooking job. Yeah. How when you first started off, you may have been a bit slower, and now you know the layout. You have a routine.
But it's almost even. I mean, for me, as a very spiritual person, I like to think of those, like, routines as a way to be more meditative and present. But it can also be something really mindless and really just, like, over and over and over again. And I feel like that is also really like a cause of burnout, is just going into a job and doing the same thing every single day. Like that can be just exhausting, you know. That's really hard. And that's why I feel like I work all these other jobs, right, to try and avoid that burnout of doing the same thing every single day. But now I've just found this other kind of burnout of doing too much, you know?
It's like,
I don't want to do just one thing, I'll get bored, but now I'm doing all these other things and I'm exhausted. And, like, balance is really the key. And isn't that what we're all just seeking? Is more balance?
It's never, like...
It's not that easy.
It's not an easy feat. When you have to pay the bills, you gotta pay the bills. You're here to, you know, accomplish something. I'm here to do this job, but when does the end? When is it? When am I getting that rest in the mix? It's like, it's not and oftentimes, you know, you don't realize you're burnt out until it's really overdue, and
until something just like sends you over the edge and you're just like mad.
and that's a real feeling, and thank God over the years I've had burnout so much in my life just from this fun brain I have. And I love my brain, but she has her moments, and I would get just spurts of anger. And I've learned about, it's called rejection sensitivity dysphoria. My friend Christine, she's listening. Hi, Christine. We love you. But I think about, you know, that rejection sensitivity dysphoria. It's like, basically it just means that, I basically have been rejected so many times to the point of, like whenever I get rejected, it hurts a lot. And so going back to how this represents into burnout, it's like oftentimes my work becomes less quality, it's more quantity. And you start to get anger, and you start to get that anger of like, oh, nobody likes what I'm doing or whatever. And I just have to backtrack and say, okay, when I feel this anger that's coming up from this burnout, from all this stuff that's happening, I'm trying not to curse on the pod, but it happens. I'm like, I'm trying to, we're trying to get to monetization, so. But backtracking a little bit, just having that big step back of, okay, here's what I'm going to accomplish, and, you know, I want to get to this point, but maybe I just need 5 minutes alone, and maybe I need a day alone, and I will come back to this thing, and then maybe I have fresh eyes, and it's not even going to be any effort, or very little effort, to get this thing done. And so, I've learned the step back, and just refresh and reboot and get that recharge.
And again, try not to find shame in that recharge time, right? Because it's so necessary. I feel like that's also a thing, is just like in this culture that we live in, it's like so much shame behind rest. And so much like guilt, and like I know a lot of people feel guilty for even resting, because why aren't you making money, you know?
Isn't it funny how this world is geared toward, you know, where the most efficiency, the best,
right? But
in a way, it's taken away the most precious gift, which is peace.
Absolutely.
And
period.
That's all I gotta say.
Literally. I saw this post. This has just been like a conversation that I've been having with a lot of people. I saw this post on Instagram that was like, because we have all this AI coming out now, trying to make everything more efficient for everybody. And me and Megan have not used AI for anything in our project. I don't even know how to use that.
I wouldn't even...
Literally. Literally. And it was just like AI is like, you know, coming out and like making all these art and stuff and trying to like mass produce creativity, right? That's the point of AI, whether it's like digital art or like writing and stuff. And this post was just like, why isn't AI like doing our laundry and our dishes and working for us so that we get to make more art and we get to be more creative? Like, why is AI mass producing this creativity when our life's purpose is to be creative? It's not to work so hard and mass produce all this stuff. Like, our soul is supposed to create and make art and love and be peaceful, and we're just told that we gotta do all this crap and make all this money, and it's exhausting. It's not our nature, you know? It's not our nature at all.
It's a big, this world out there, it's just interesting because by simplifying it makes it more complicated.
Right.
By making it easy, we're complicating it. We just need to go back to the roots here.
Because when it's easy, we're distracted. You know, we're just distracted by all this like stimulation. We have stimulation at our fingertips all the time. And
which honestly, stimulation to a certain degree does lead to burnout just by being on social media.
Absolutely.
I get social media burnout all the time.
I hope people get social media burnout because that shit's exhausting. That shit is so exhausting.
It's like, okay, I'm like, okay, my brain's like mush.
Literally.
My brain is turning to mush. I'm having
brain
no
cells
connection.
Dying.
I don't see my friends. Like, there's certain aspects to this life that it's funny how since stepping away from the 9-to-5 role, right? So during the daytime when there's really not that many people out and about. But I think that, you know, they're in their spots, right? They're doing their job, they're doing their work, which is wonderful. But I think about, you know, I'm in this other stage in life where I'm not working that 9-to-5 job, but, you know, it almost feels like because I don't have like that scheduled hourly thing, sometimes it can lead to a little bit more mental taxing stuff. Because, not saying more, because I think when you work from 9-to-5, that's a long time to be sitting in one spot doing the same thing. However, I do think that doing this career choice, you almost have to set your own hours, because if you don't, you will burn out from just working solely on this one thing for forever.
Right.
And in this sense of ADHD and everything, and actually why I practiced yoga to begin with in my days, I went into it because I needed a scheduled break. I needed to be like, oh, I need to come out of this at some point. It needs to be, I need to have this daily thing I know will just be my thing.
Center me. And absolutely.
So.
Absolutely, yoga's a great way to deal with burnout. You know?
Just get in down dog a couple times.
Literally, do some yoga. And that really just like also connects you with body again too, and just like noticing how body feels, because burnout affects body too. And like you can feel like that stress and stuff in your body, and yoga can be a great way to deal with that. And we were talking about how like we felt like burnout could be a lot of could look a lot like recovering from burnout could look a lot like recovering from grief.
Yes.
Megan has a list.
I have a list.
Please hold. Megan has a list.
Okay, perfect. So, the first thing is to accept your feelings. And
we talked about that. Accepting just like, I'm burned out.
Yeah.
You know?
I am burned out.
Yeah.
And then, after you've done that, embracing your feelings. So it's like, when you're in that burnout state, recognizing it and then embracing it. It's real. This feeling of burnout is real. How I'm going to move forward. And it's
normal. Yeah. It's normal to feel like that too. Yeah.
Knowing you're not alone in that burnout too is nice. And that leads to the third point, which is the support. Is looking for support in friends, family, loved ones,
Absolutely.
pets.
And like for me, like looking for support is honestly telling people like, hey, I cannot hang out with you. I need a break.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to do that.
Yeah.
That's support.
Exactly. But like for Megan, support would be like, hey, I really need some like help with this, and like asking for more attention. And like for me, like I need less. For you, you need more. And that's both are normal and both are acceptable and are okay.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's not one size fits all.
Exactly.
I think support is the thing that you desire the most in that moment of burnout. Mm-hmm. And maybe others may not be able to do anything for you, but they can respect your space.
Exactly.
And if you express it, express what you need. Your friend, if you have a good friend, hopefully they are wonderful people and will give you the space or be understanding of what you need in this time. So the fourth point is allow yourself to feel the feeling and to recognize, okay, this overwhelming feeling, I'm just going to cry.
Yeah, literally.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, literally.
I guess I shouldn't feel ashamed. I'm laughing at myself, but I shouldn't because it's normal and human and beautiful.
The other day when I was really feeling this burnout, I was in the woods and I was just like talking to Mother Nature, and I was like, I'm tired and I'm angry, and I just kind of just had to say that out loud to nobody. But just to like, just to like put that statement out, like I'm exhausted and I'm working too hard and the government just took a bunch of my money and I'm tired and I'm mad.
Thank you,
Literally.
Literally, though.
Just like stating that, like everyone always also associates anger with like this negative feeling, like you shouldn't be angry, but I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm still at peace, but I'm a little bit mad.
I'm it's tired. Valid to be tired. Yeah. I'm tired, I'm angry, I'm mad. It's like, okay, well,
right.
At
least I'm not just like suppressing that feeling and being like, oh, I can't be angry because love and light.
I'll tell you, in a lot of ways, this world wants you to suppress it.
Yeah.
And exactly. They don't want you to feel that feeling.
Women.
Oh.
Especially as women. Us women aren't allowed.
We're getting into that.
Us women aren't allowed to be angry. Excuse me, I'm mad. I'm working like a man. And I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl living in my own world. Feeling understand. Everything can happen when you take a chance. Oh.
Me and Megan are just two
girls.
We're
having great. We're burnt out a little. We're having that a little. For you, it's more than a little. You're just spilling it out. It's okay.
All is well.
It's a beautiful life we're having. And then okay, so it's saying to it's a weird this one. Okay, so we looked up the list for grief. So this may not apply to burnout, but it says to memorialize it. And maybe actually you could do that with burnout in a weird way.
Yeah, because maybe you have to like let some things go if you're like in this burnout.
Yeah.
Maybe like because you've hit this burnout, you're like, oh, maybe I need to cut some stuff out of my life, or
that's a real thing.
And maybe you need to like release that and let that go. I feel like that could definitely be suitable for burnout.
Well, for sure. Yeah, get that.
Yeah.
Start cutting things out. It's some
cut that shit out.
And its next point is to take care of yourself, which we've definitely touched on.
There's what you gotta do.
There's a lot of that. That goes back to the shame point, but there's a lot of people who think that by not taking care of yourself, that it's just gonna go away. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to close my eyes and it's going to go away. Yeah. And it's not. And pushing forward is just going to prevent the inevitable. And we talk about, there's this term in Vedic astrology, it's called Gandanta, which means karmic knot. And if you don't believe in karma, that's fine. But basically, all it represents is, the inevitable is about to occur.
Yeah.
So if you're exhausted, you're about to hit a real stopping point, because this basically the world is going to stop you from feeling God, higher power, whatever you believe in, is going to eventually press that pause button for you, because you didn't decide to take the stuff you needed in the moment.
Absolutely. I agree. Like, if you're not taking care of yourself, like the universe, it's gonna hit you with a hard lesson. It's gonna smack you in the face. It's gonna be like, you know, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, right?
It's like, you know, you could have done this in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, yep, I definitely could have.
Yeah.
So, great. So, and then next point's be patient.
Yeah.
I think burnout does eventually end if you take these steps before it and take care of yourself, allow for things to settle down. Eventually, this too shall pass.
Absolutely.
And end.
And on to better things. Yeah.
On to the next stage. Next level. It says to get enough sleep. That doesn't always happen.
That can be hard.
That's a little bit of a call out for me.
I haven't been getting enough sleep. That's for sure. Neither of us have been sleeping enough.
Okay. All right.
We'll both be working on that.
Yep. Yes, Google. Yes. Yes, Google.
Thank you.
So, and look after your health. This one I struggle with sometimes, because sometimes all I want to do when I'm like in a crazy stage is eat a cake. And I'm
indulge
in the beauty of life, and yeah, that's definitely not what I should be doing. I love myself some cake, but maybe on a better day. Maybe on a day where, you know, I'm not in this negative mindset, because then it's a reward. Right. But you training yourself that you're going to get a reward when bad things happen is training that bad thing to happen time and time again.
And then you're more comfortable with that bad thing happening, because you're like, oh, well, I'll just indulge because this bad thing happened to me, you know.
Right. But yeah, you're kind of rewarding yourself for the bad thing happening instead of actually coming out of it. Yeah. I do that stuff all the time. This is not from like not having experience. I do this sometimes, and I need to work on that. So, but you know, I think that having your health in check, having your mind in check, having your spirit in check are best ways to alleviate some of that burnout and to become closer to finding that beautiful Libra energy of balance in your life. Yeah. Because ultimately it will pass. The burnout's not for forever. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, I have one last announcement. Absolutely. And that is to go to clairvoyanceyoga.com. Sign up for our membership. We have so much, and it alleviate your burnout.
Exactly. If you're feeling burned out, do some yoga.
It's the best remedy.
We got some yoga for you. So go sign up for our membership.
Go sign up. It might feel a little better. Yeah. So, cheers to that.
Cheers. Have a beautiful day, everybody.
Bye.